Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Doreen Reed, and I make content on things that are cultural, educational, and creative. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome, 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 and I do hope that you find the information here quite educational and quite informative. And to all my returning viewers, big up yourself, maximum respect. Thank you so much for all the support. Before we jump into today's videos though, I'm just going to ask you, just give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you have not yet done so. I'm on a road to 4,000 subscribers. Help me get there, everybody. All right, so now that we've done that and gotten that housekeeping matter out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Now you have seen the title, you know what I'm going to talk about. Yes, I'm going to be talking about music today, but more specifically, I'm going to be talking about the intimate concert, that unforgettable night of music and vibes, that highly anticipated show featuring reggae legends Beres Hammond and Buju Banton, two of my favorite artists. Yeah, that show, Intimate, was everything that fans hoped for and more. From soulful performances to a star-studded lineup, nah. Intimate proved once again why reggae is not just music. It is a cultural movement. I will say that again. Intimate proved that reggae is more than music. It is a cultural movement. Stay with me and you'll hear as we break it down why we can understand why we think it's a cultural movement. So if you are a fan of clean, powerful performances and a production that embodies the heart of Jamaican music, you'll want to stick around for the entire video as well as we break it down. So you can come along with me on this video, on this journey of breaking it down. So let's get started. And you're going to see me from time to time looking out of camera because I've jotted down some notes because I want to make sure that I am not forgetting important things that must be mentioned. So, first off, let's start with the vibe and the atmosphere. One word to describe that, and that would be amazing. Now, the atmosphere itself, it wasn't just a concert, it was an experience. And that's one of the things about these kinds of show. You're not going there just to see a concert. The overall experience from the journey in getting there despite the traffic to the very last moment when you exit, all of it is an experience. You can't experience just a bit of it and to get to fully understand and embrace what this was about. Now, the crowd was massive. Lots of people turned out. And so the venue was really packed with fans of all ages. And when I say all ages, I mean all ages, even the elderly. There were elderly people who came and they had their chairs and they had their coats and their jackets, so they were fully covered and they were all wrapped up, sitting down, waiting to see Beres Hammond and Buju Banton. Listen, do not take the love that Jamaican people have for these two artists, particularly Beres Hammond, because I know a lot of these elderly people were there for Beres and they would tell you. And so the fact that we had this age range, yes, in this space, it speaks volume about the universal appeal of the show itself, not just the lineup, but the overall show. And so that is why I said to you, it wasn't just a show, it was a celebration of reggae culture in its purest form. Yes, Intimate represents that kind of celebration of reggae in its purest form. And yes, I'm repeating it because I'm repeating it for emphasis because it is important that we know that. So the overall production itself was a good one. Yes, from the lighting, choice of lighting to the overall staging, I believe that everything came together quite seamlessly. Just so it kind of set the tone for what the entire night would be like, and just for a moment that people can remember after leaving. So the organizers, they clearly put some thought into creating this particular brand Yes, so between the Beres Hammond camp and the Buju Banton camp, this product that they've created, this thing, Show Intimate, it is a brand that ought to be protected because it's one of those brands that appeals to true reggae lovers. And so protecting the brand is critical, and you could see that in this their second staging, they kept true to that, and protecting the brand included an important factor, and that factor is the choice of artists that you have on the show. And so, what can I say about the choice of artists for the 2025 staging of Intimate? Simply perfect. Yes, simply perfect. Each of the performers, they brought clean and uplifting music, which I believe added to the overall quality of the event, right? And so we're going to now look at the performances a little bit. So come with me on the journey. I will not talk about every single ones. I'm going to talk about the one that I'm going to talk about every single one. I'm going to talk about the ones that resonated with me. And so we want to start with the queen of reggae herself, Marcia Griffiths. Now, what can I say about Marcia Griffiths? She's a true legend for a reason. Now, you don't just get up and give somebody the title Queen for no reason. Yes, she was a true legend. Or she lived up, I should say, instead of saying she was a true legend, she lived up to that legendary status. She brought elegance, she brought grace to the stage, and her performance was just sheer joy to just watch and to just listen to. From the moment she stepped on that stage, she had the crowd moving and singing along. Her presence was magnetic. She doesn't just perform, she connects with her audience, and I believe that's one of the things that I particularly like about Marcia, the way she connects to the audience. And so for the duration of her set, it felt like time stood still. It felt like time stood still, and we were all united in the power of her music. A true queen, a true legend. Next up, we had Bugle. Wow. Just wow. Now, if you were there, you would know what I'm talking about. Bugle's performance was Bugle performed with a presence that felt almost spiritual. It's like it took you on this journey. Yes, like a spiritual journey. It's like his energy was soulful, it was introspective. It's like he's on this journey spiritually, and it's almost as if he took you on that spiritual journey with him. There was something so deeply authentic about his music and just about his performance. So it was not just entertaining. It was it was extremely meaningful, and the way he moved around the stage, the way he communicated with the audience, it was just sheer bliss, sheer joy, and just something so meaningful for anybody to actually fully absorb it. And I thoroughly enjoyed this performance. I saw an Observer title that says Bugle lit up Intimate, and believe me, he did. He lit that space up, and so he set a very good tone for all the performers that came right after him. So he did not just show Bugle. Bugle showed that reggae. Bugle showed that reggae is not just about beat and rhythm. It's about a message. He left a very strong impression, and he set the bar higher for the rest of the night for all the other performers that were coming. And that's what I appreciate about the performance. Then there was Romain Virgo. Let me just say this. Every time I see or hear Romain, I feel more confident about the future of reggae music. I'm going to say that again. Every time I see Romain Virgo, I feel more confident about the future of reggae music. He's got the talent, he's got the voice, he's got the stage presence, and he just embodies what I believe a true reggae ambassador is. So he has all of those qualities to carry the genre forward for generations to come. And if you pay attention, you've never heard Romain's name being dragged, yes, being dragged publicly about any form of misconduct, misbehavior, and misdemeanor. And that kind of ambassadorship, that's what we want for reggae music. If we are really going to embrace reggae as the as the culture, as a cultural movement that it is, then it simply means we need persons like Romain Virgo to move it forward. His performance was a standout for the night. He brought energy, he brought passion, and a youthful vibe that the crowd was hooked on from the very start to finish. As a matter of fact, there were persons who were sitting in their chairs, and the moment Romain was announced, listen to me, the moment Romain was announced, persons got up out of their chairs. Yes, those persons, they got up because they were ready for what Romain brought to the stage. And of course, I particularly was over the moon because there were some of the students who were playing in Romain's band. Some of them are still, or most of them really, are past students of the Edna Manley College. But there were two in particular that got me really excited, and the two persons, they were playing the brass band, because I believe that those two men, especially one of them in particular, embodies also the future of reggae music. So I was particularly happy to see them all performing with Romain, so with their traits and quality that they possessed, and then with Romain possessing those qualities. Listen, I believe that they fell in the right camp and they were in the right place, and I couldn't be more excited for them. Romain's ability to mix tradition with modern, just give it a nice little twist, and make him one of reggae's biggest and brightest stars. And so if you've not yet seen Romain live, you're missing out. Yes, you should make it your duty to go and check out this young man live. And I believed on that concert at Intimate on January 4, I believe he delivered, and he delivered big. He never disappointed his audience who were waiting to actually see him perform. All right, so let us now go. Hey, listen, let's now talk about the big man himself. Beres Hammond, a masterclass in music. Yes, years of experience was at play here. And so the question is, Beres can do no wrong. Can he? No. Beres Hammond can do no wrong. Absolutely none. His voice was just impeccable. Every note, every lyric was just pure perfection. Now, one of the things that was very obvious for me and a little emotional is the fact that Beres is not able to move around the stage like he used to. Yes, because he's much older now. He's not as young as he used to be. He's much older. But you could see that there were moments he wanted to jump, he wanted to, but the body just would not allow him. And what I particularly love was how well managed, his set was, because he was able to move around and stand and perform as much as possible. And then his team brought out his chair for him to sit on. So he had that flexibility to decide whether I want to sit or whether I want to stand. So he was able to deliver. But even while he was sitting, that never changed what he brought to the table. And so he might not be able to jump around anymore like he used to, but honestly, who cares? His voice did all the dancing that we needed, right? The crowd hung on to every single word that came out of his mouth. People sang with him word for word. And listen, the emotional connection that he has with his fans, that emotional connection is unmatched, because he has a way of singing, and when he starts singing and he puts his hand on his head and he starts doing things like that, the audience connected with him. And so while persons were there just singing word for word, people were just completely enjoying his performance. And then his interaction with the audience also helped. Beres Hammond's performance Yes, reminded us all why he is the cornerstone of reggae. Not many persons can accomplish what he accomplished. Yes, it wasn't just a performance, it was a master class in how he captivated the audience and with the kind of authenticity and soul that he brought to the space. While he was performing, he said to us, to the audience, I don't make hit songs. I make good songs, but you gave me hit songs. Listen, you see, when he said that, the crowd roared, people cheered. Again, they became even more excited. And so, Beres just had the crowd eating out of his hands, rocking away, dancing away. And it is that kind of interaction, connection, and authenticity that I believe people loved with him, along with the quality music that he actually brought to the table. And finally, we have Buju Banton. Now, let me tell you, Buju's set was a show by itself. It was the show within the show. Yes, and if you understand anything about production and performance, you'll understand what I mean when I say the show within the show. But nonetheless, I'm going to explain now. From Buju's grand entrance to the very last note, Buju delivered a performance that was nothing short of epic. Now, one of the things about starting a show is that you must start with a bang. Yes? And I think Buju did that. We had the choice of sound, the choice of music or the instrumental sound that played at the beginning of Buju set when he was announced, and then he chose a very popular song. I think he chose Destiny. He chose a very popular song that he started introducing from backstage with big high energy and started singing some parts of it. And so you're not seeing him, but people are anticipating him coming out, and you could hear him around there. And then all the phones went up because persons wanted to catch that grand entrance. And so that kind of anticipation, that kind of mystery that had persons hanging on, tension was high, but it was good tension. And so people anticipated that, and then he just ran out on the stage somewhere in the middle of it. That, I believe, is an opening that's captivating, and that is why I said it was a show within a show, because that opening was really, really very strong. And then as he started doing hits after hits after hits, you could see that his set was also very well rehearsed in terms of his body language when they were ending a piece and what he do. So he would come bam pam 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 pam. He had some movements that suggested, listen, I know my set quite well. My musicians also know my set. My entire team knows this. So therefore, it suggests to you that a lot of rehearsal and a lot of work went into putting his set together, and it was just fantastic. Buju is just a real powerhouse on stage. We can't take that from him. His energy is unmatched. His charisma and his ability to command a crowd, those things are unmatched. And listen, Buju is not young. Buju is not young. And for him to be able to deliver the quality performance that he has given, you know that it's coming from the heart and from the soul. And it shows the years of experience that found its way into that space. His set felt like an emotional roller coaster, not in a bad way, because it had moments of pure hype. So, and then of course others were deeply reflective. So it started give you some nice hype, the genre, and then the nice dancehall kind of vibe, and then he would go back to the nice reggae bits and pieces that allow you to start thinking about where you are. But what was good about Buju was that he carried on Wayne Wonder in his set. And listen, Wayne Wonder has not lost it either. He came on, the melodious voice of Wayne Wonder just kind of filled the air, and people were excited. And so Buju took a break, and Wayne Wonder was just carrying on. Yes, and people thoroughly enjoyed his set. And when Buju Banton returned, oh my God, there's something about watching Buju and Beres together. Yes, there's something about watching Buju and Beres together that is just so blissful. when you watch these two legends team up to give you a certain kind of performance. And of course, Buju eventually brought on Gramps Morgan. Yes, you know that when he brought on Gramps, so he started on a high, he brought on Gramps Morgan and they did their set to end the show. So if you were really in that crowd, you could feel the electricity in the air as the performance, as the set of Buju was going on. So Buju doesn't just only perform, he creates a certain kind of experience. And as I'm here talking about, I can just feel how excited I am because it was really a very good experience. And like I said, when he brought on Gramps Morgan and they did that set, it was just the perfect way. It was a perfect way to close out what was already a stellar night, because I mean both men had some really strong bits and pieces, and they had some moments when they were improvising together. And listen, the improvisation was really just fantastic because it was about vocals, it was about ad-libbing things, and it sounded absolutely beautiful. So that was a performance. So let me jump a little bit to the technical side now. No event is perfect, and Intimate was no exception. So while the overall production itself was excellent, I believe we had some issues with sound. So the sound system, it could have been a little better in the sense that there were moments when the audio was a bit muddy, in the sense that you couldn't hear. It's like whatever was going on with the microphones at the different points, and that was early in the show. And so sometimes you had to hear Bergerman was emceeing, kept saying to them, turn up the microphone. There was one person who opened the show, could not hear properly, and then eventually they got it right. And I believe the persons who were in the general admission may have had a harder time hearing, because I've also seen other persons recording to say, listen, we can't hear nothing, and sitting in yours, I record a full video, you know. But I think those of us who were closer to the front in the VIP section did not have it as severely as they did. And I believe that if they had cleaned up those sounds from early, those audio issues from earlier, I believe that it would have taken the experience to an even greater and higher level. But honestly, I think they handled the challenges quite well, because that's also a part of the production, and that's what I loved about production. When the challenges come, how you handle those challenges become important to the experience that the patrons will have. And I believe that the team, they handled those sound challenges quite well in the grand scheme of things. And I think overall it was a good show, and the performances kind of made up kind of made up for those kind of glitches that they had. I think they were able to solve them early, so it would not have affected the later performances or the artists that people really came out to actually see. And I believe the energy of the crowd carried the night. So even in the rain, persons just pulled their umbrellas out, and persons just continued to enjoy the performance. So there you have it. Intimate was everything we could have hoped for and more. So from Marcia Griffiths' timeless elegance to Bugle's soulful journey, from Romain's youthful brilliance to Beres Hammond's flawless vocals, and finally Buju Banton's explosive set, the show was a testament to the power and beauty of reggae music. If you weren't there, you missed out on something special. Yes, but don't worry, reggae has a way of bringing us all together, and there will always be other moments to share. Always. So if you attended the concert, just let me know what are your thoughts on the concert. If you agreed with anything that I would have said, or you had a different experience, just share in the comment section. I would like to hear from you. If you did not get to attend, let me hear your thoughts. Oh, and I did not mention the traffic. I won't even talk about it because I didn't get caught in the traffic. I made my way before. So if you were there, tell me what the traffic was like for you. Let us share the experience in the comment section. Yes, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Until I make another video, take care, walk good, and stay blessed.